2 Kings chapter 5. ونعمان شر الشبه ملك هرام هايا إيش גדול לפני אדוני ונשוה פנים כי בו נתן יהוה תשועה להרם. And Naaman, the prince of the host of the king of Aram, was a big man, a great man, before his Lord, and lifted of faces, because by means of him Yahweh gave salvation for Aram. وهايش هايا gibor hail مثرع, and the man was a mighty man of efficacy, being a leper. وهرام ياشهو gedudim, and Aram went out in bands. ويشبو مهرش يشرائيل نغرا قطنا, and they took captive from the land of Yisrael a little girl, a little lass. Watahi lipene ethet Naaman, and she was before the woman of Naaman. Watomer helgeveratah ahle hadoni lipne hanavi atar b'shomron, and she said to her mistress, O that my lord were before the prophet which is in Shomron. Az yesopoto mitharato, then he would gather him from his leprosy. Wayavo wayaged lahadonai le'amor, and one came and he told to his lord, saying, Kadot wakadot dibra hanara, like this and like this the lass worded. Atar Yisrael, the lass who is from the land of Yisrael. Wayomer melech Haram lekabo, and the king of Aram said, Go thou, We'eshelecha seper el melech Yisrael, and I would send a letter to the king of Yisrael. Wayelech wayikah beyado, Esher kikre chesep, Weshethet halafim dahab, We'esher halipot begadim. And he went, and he took in his hand 10 talents of silver, and 6,000 gold, and 10 changes of garments. Wayave haseper, and he brought the letter, El melech Yisrael le'amor, to the king of Yisrael, saying, Wa'ata, and now, Kavo haseper hade'elecha, as the coming of this letter to thee. Hinne shalachti elecha et Naaman abdi. Behold, I have sent to thee Naaman, my servant. Wahasapato mitharato, and thou shalt gather him from his leprosy. Wayahi kikaroh melech Yisrael et hasefer, and it was as the king of Yisrael's reading the letter. Wayikra begadai, also he tore his garments. Wayomer, and he said, Elohim hani lahamit ulahayot. Is it that I am God, to cause death and to cause life? Ki the sholech elai lehsop ish mitharato, that This one is sending to me to gather a man from his leprosy. Ki akada'una urahu, ki mitanahu li. But know ye now, and see ye, that he is seeking occasion against me. Wayahi kishamoa Elisha Isha Elohim ki qara melech Yisrael et begadayu. And it was as Elisha, the man of the gods, hearing that the king of Yisrael had torn his garments, Vayishlah Elaha Melech Le'amor. Also he sent to the king, saying, Lama qara'ata begadaka. For what hast thou torn thy garments? Yavohna Elai. Let him come now to me. V'yeda ki yesh navi b'Yisrael. And he shall know that there is a prophet in Yisrael. Vayavo Naaman besusai uberikabo. And Naaman came by means of his horses and by means of his chariotry. Vayamod petah habayit leElisha. And he stood at the door of the house for Elisha. Vayishlah Elahu Elisha. And Elisha sent to him Malach Le'amor, a messenger, saying, Halok wara hashata sheva pa'amim by Jordan. Goingly also thou shalt wash 7 times in the Jordan. Vayathob basharaka laka utahar. And thy flesh shall return to thee, and thou shalt be clean, or be thou clean. Vayikathof Naaman vayelach. And Naaman was wroth, and he went. Vayomer. And he said, Hine hamarti. Behold, I had said, Eli yeshe yashor. To me he would coming out. Wa'amad. And he would stand. Waqarah b'shem Yahweh Elohayu. And he would call by the name of Yahweh his God. Vehenif yado el hamakom. And he would wave his hand to the place. Wa'asaf hamthorah. And he would gather the leper. Halo tov havana waparapar naharot damashq mikol meme Yisrael. Is it not that Havana or Amana and Parpa are good rivers in Damashq, more than all the waters of Yisrael? Halo erhash bahem with aharati. Is it not that I would wash in them, and I would be clean? Vayipen, vayelek behema. And he turned and he went in a rage. Vayigashu avadayu. And his servants approached. Vayedabberu elayu. And they worded to him. Vayomeru avi. And they said, My father. Davar gadol hanavi dibber eleka aloh ta'asha. A big word the prophet hath worded to thee. Is it not that thou wouldst do it? Wahaf ki amar eleka rehash utahar. And how much more that he hath said to thee, Wash thou, and be thou clean? Wayerd, and he descended. Wayitbol Bayordan Sheba Pa'amim, and he dipped in the Jordan 7 times. Kidabar Isha Elohim, like the word of the man of the God. Wayathob Basharo, and his flesh returned. Kibashara Nagarakaton, like the flesh of a little lad. Wayitahar, and he was clean. Wayathob Elisha Elohim, and he returned to the man of the God, who were called Mahanehu, he and all his camp. Wayavor, and he came. Wayamod Lefanau, and he stood before his faces. Wayomer, and he said, Hinena yadati, behold, now I have known. Ki en Elohim b'kol haaretz, that there is not a God in all the land. Ki im b'Yisrael, except in Yisrael. Wa'ata, and now, Tahana baraka mehet abdaka, take now a blessing from thy servant. Wayomer, and he said, Hay Yahweh atra amadati lepanau imehekah, as Yahweh liveth, which I have stood before his faces, if I would take. Wayipitarabo laqahat, and he pressured him to take. Wayimaen, and he refused. Wayomer Naaman, and Naaman said, Walo yutanana la'abdaka mashah semed paradim adama, and not, let be given now to thy servant a burden of a yoke of mules, of earth or ground. Ki lo yasha od abdaka ola wa dhebah leelohim acherim ki im Yahweh, because thy servant shall not effectuate any more a burnt offering or a sending offering or a sacrifice to other gods, but only to Yahweh. Ladabar hadeh yislah Yahweh la'abdaka, for this word let Yahweh forgive thy servant. B'bo Adoni bet Rimmon lehishatahawot thama, in my Lord's coming to the house of Rimmon, to bow down there. Wahu nisha'an al yadi, and he be one leaning upon my hand. Wahishatahaweti bet Rimmon, and I bow in the house of Rimmon. Behishatahawayati bet Rimmon, Yislahana Adonai, Yahweh la'abdaka badavar hadeh. In my bowing down in the house of Rimmon, let Yahweh forgive now for thy servant in this thing. Wayomer lo lech l'shalom, and he said to him, Go thou for peace. Wayelech mehito kibrat haaretz, and he went from with him like a distance of land. ויאמר גחזי נגר אלישע איש האלוהים. And Gehazi, the lad of Elisha, the man of the God, said, הנה השק אדוני את נעמן הרמי הזה מקחת מידו את אתרהבי. Behold, my Lord hath restrained Naaman, this Arami, from to take from his hand what he brought. Yahweh ki emerasati acharayu, walakahati mehito muuma. As Yahweh liveth, except I run after him, and I take from him a thing. Vayirdof Gehazi achare Naaman, and Gehazi pursued after Naaman. Vayireh Naaman rash acharayu, and Naaman saw one running after him. Vayipol me'al hamerkava, and he fell from upon the chariot. Liqrahato, to meet him. Vayomer hashalom, and he said, is it peace? Vayomer shalom, and he said, peace. Adoni shalahani lemor, my Lord hath sent me, saying, Hinne ata thebahu elai thenen gharim mehar Ephraim mibne hanbim. Behold now, this 2 lads have come to me from the hill country of Ephraim, mibne hanbim, from the sons of the prophets, Tanana lahem kikar kesef. Give thou now for them a talent of silver, uthate halifot begadim, and 2 changes of clothings. Vayomer Naaman, and Naaman said, Hoel kah kikarayim. Be thou willing, take thou 2 talents. Vayifrothbo, and he pressured upon him. Vayathar kikarayim kasef bithane haritim uthate halifot begadim. And he bound 2 talents of silver by means of 2 bags, and 2 changes of clothings. Vayitten elethanen garayu, and he gave to his 2 lads. Vayishu lepanayu, and they lifted before him, carried. Vayavo elaha opel, and he came to the hill. Vayikahmiyadam, vayipqod babayit, and he took from their hand, and he set aside in the house. Vayishallah et hanashim, vayeleku, and he sent off the men, and they went. Uhuhavah, and he came. Vayamod el Adonai, and he stood before his Lord. Vayomer Eli Elisha, and Elisha said to him, Me'ain Gehazi, from where art thou, Gehazi? Vayomer, and he said, Lo halaka abdaka ana wa. Thy servant hath not gone thither or whither. Wayomer Helaiu, and he said to him, Lo libi halak, katra hafaka yishme ala merkavato likrahataka. Did not my heart go like when the man turned from upon his chariot to meet thee? Ha'et laqahat et hakasaf. Is it the time to take the silver, walaqahat bagadim, and to take garments, wazetim ukramim, with thorn wabakar, and olives and vineyards, and flock and herd, wa'avadim ushapahot, and manservants and maidservants, with Arat Naaman tidavakabaka, and the leprosy of Naaman shall cleave to thee. Ubazaraka le'olam, and to thy seed for unseen time. Wayeshemilfanau mistorra kashalag, and he went out from before his faces, leprous like the snow.